everyone, this is Jill. Welcome to Om Shanti Healing. In the previous video I did with the foam roller, we worked the arms and the chest and around the shoulders. So in this video I promised you that we would work on the back. We can get into the diaphragm and abdomen and then see how much time we have at that point in lower body, maybe another video. So we'll see how it goes. Typically with the roller, it's a slow process because we like to take our time to really feel the body and where we're hurting. Before we begin though, I wanted to share just a small little tip with you that I give to a lot of my clients that show up with neck, shoulder, and chest pain and tightness. So just a very quick tool. If you have a scarf or a bathrobe strap, something that's comfortable on the skin, you simply bring it around the back of your head, okay? And you're going to want to pull down. So once you get it on there, apply some pressure, pull down, and then we're taking it around the back. And we're going to tie it in a knot, keep the pressure, tie it in a knot, or in a slip knot, or whatever works for you so it's held in place. Okay, I like this one because it's just long enough where I can get a knot and it's not dangling behind me and getting in my way. So as you can see, it's on there nice and secure. And what this does is it forces the shoulders to depress. So it pulls your shoulders down and it pulls them back. So what this does is it opens the chest and it gives your back, your upper back, a time to relax. We're rounded, we're this is our lifestyle, arms forward, driving, typing, whatever. We don't do anything like this. So inevitably our chests get contracted, our upper backs get overstretched and tight and weak. Okay, so this offers us some release. I wear this one when I'm feeling it in my neck. The pressure forces your neck the head to come back, so you have some curvature back in the neck. The protraction decreases as your head is jolting forward with this forward lifestyle we have. Everyone is like this. So it helps to get the head back. It makes you aware. It builds awareness in the body. It can help promote muscle memory to guide your shoulders back. And you immediately feel release in the chest. You immediately feel relaxation in the back. So give it a try. You can certainly write me on YouTube or shoot me an email through my website at omshantihealing.com. Let me know what you think of this one. So easy. I wear it all day long in my moments where I'm on my laptop all day working on my business, or I'm doing some writing or what have you, and I'm arms forward all day long. I just put this on. It helps me to sit up straight in my seat. It gives me openness across my heart chakra. It helps to clear my throat. It's just a wonderful, simple tool. Bring it to work. If you sit all day at a desk, put it on. Show your coworkers how easy it is to get the relief that you may need. So just a quick little tidbit there. I'm going to bring in the roller now. And again, just at the beginning of my other videos when we worked on the shoulder stuff, I had mentioned that I got my roller on Amazon. I just wanted to show you again. It is Yes for All brand. Really great roller. It's 8 inches in diameter, it's 3 feet long, and I got it for just over $20. Now you can get these at Target for like 45 bucks. You can get them at a Sport Authority, any sort of sports equipment type store, but this to me was the best value for being a piece of foam. 20 bucks. I'd be willing to spend that. 50 was too much for me. So let's begin more focused on what we're doing. Okay, so at the end of the last video we worked on the lats and we got back here a bit. So I want to just continue on down the side of the body with that protocol. Sorry, I am unfortunately not equipped with a professional camera crew, but I do have a wonderful space in my home that works just fine. So you're willing to bear with my adjustments here. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna just do one side so we can save some time, and we'll just go through it piece by piece. Okay, so the foam roller we're gonna lay down on our right side. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so you can see my whole body here. Thank you for your patience. So we're gonna start where we left off on the other video. So we were about right here, okay? So we were getting on the lateral side of the shoulder blade, and we're getting into those teres, major and minor origin points there behind the armpit and at the top of the humeral bone. Okay, so we're just gonna rock it back and forth here. Now again, I mentioned in my tennis ball video that I like to do this kind of work on a harder floor, just so you can get more pressure. So if you're super sensitive, feel free to try it, you know, over a rug or whatever. And the rollers come in different densities too. This one's got a little bit of give in it, but there are ones that are really hard. So you can just try them out at a store maybe before you buy them online. So we're right above where we're going to feel the serratus anterior here. That runs along the rib cage. It helps with exhalation. We use it when we plank, when we down dog, when we chaturanga, when we're lifting anything up that's heavy. You know, that engages as well. So let's just move on down the line here. We're going to lift the body and manually move the roller. So here I'm right about mid-chest. So I'm the type of person that tells it like it is, okay? I'm not going to censor myself unless, of course, it's inappropriate. But here, ladies that are watching, breast tissue gets bound up at the sides of our breasts. We all feel that on occasion, especially with our menstrual cycle. We can get pretty sore there. Wearing underwire all the time, it can get tender. And we don't tend to massage this area when you go and get a professional massage. So when you want to manipulate the tissue and kind of get in there and help break things up, the roller's really great for that. So we're at the side and we're going to roll forward. So we're just rolling more laterally, pressing into the side of the breast and pushing into the tissue. And you will notice, whether or not, right away, if you feel kind of electric in there, it feels pretty sore. Okay? And then roll back. So take your time with this, ladies, to get into the side of the breast tissue here. So just applying some gentle pressure, or sinking into it a little heavier if you would like. And then we're going to come back through, staying consistent across the ribs here. So I like to do these twice, but before we come back, let's roll back a little bit and get underneath that scapula and roll back to the side. Okay, so we're very lateral, we ground at the elbow, we lift the body, and we move the roller down. So here we can get a little bit more. If you're bigger breasted, you could just work the side of the breast until you get all the way to the bottom, and then we can certainly roll or underneath the tissue as well. So here we might feel a little fiery, really sore and tender in this spot. So this is the serratus anterior, and we're going to roll forward again, coming a little bit more to the front of the body. So sensitive near the floating ribs, you know, just be mindful there. We're going to turn and roll her back. So let's try to keep the pressure consistent here as we roll her all the way to the spine. Good. Leaning back if you want. And back. So here we're getting a bit of the posterior diaphragm area as well, which will help with our breathing once we're all through here. And back to the front. Okay, I'm going to lift up. So now I'm rollering. I got the roller down into the groove of my side body here. I'm below the ribs. and right above the hip. Okay? And this area is a little bit longer on women due to child rearing and being pregnant. So men don't have quite as big of a gap between their lower ribs and the top of their pelvic bone. But they are generally larger in size, so you might be fine with the 8-inch roller. Okay? So with this one, we get right at the crest of the hip, and I want you to take your bottom hand and push into the roller here so it doesn't slide away from you. And we're starting very lateral. So let's rock forward a little bit, and then we're going to rock back. So we're pushing the roller down into our pelvic bone as we turn the body and move the foot to allow our body to turn towards the sky, hard up. And you may feel some referral sensations down into your pelvis, down through the iliacus here. Okay. And we turn back to the side. So we're getting inner and outer obliques here. We're getting lats. We're getting some of the erector muscles and some of those deeper back muscles that cause some issues. We're getting into the quadratus here, the very top of it. Roller back. Come back to center. Okay. So trying this on both sides and seeing how it feels. So let's get into the anterior torso now. Okay. So laying down, if you want, because we're going to be up on our elbows, if you need a blanket to prop up onto with your elbows, you can certainly pause and go grab that. I'm just going to get right into it here. So I'm putting the roller right in line with my pelvic bone. So think about the pubis. We're starting right there at the bottom. Okay? So we know with our yoga arms, right? We try to stay lifted out of our shoulders. We don't sink down. We lift up and out. Okay? So we start at the pubis. Find that comfortable spot for your body here. And we're rollering up towards the top of the pelvic bone. And then back down. This may be really tender. This is one of those spots that contribute to low back pain and issues. If your abs are tight, if your pelvis is tight, it's going to pull your body out of alignment and inevitably cause some pain. So rollering up and down that pelvic bone. Okay? Just taking it really easy. Desensitize to it because it could be really intense for you, especially if you've never had this area worked before. And then come back up. Okay? So knees down. We're just going to move our way up with the roller, and then I'll show you another one for the pelvis. So my knees are down, I'm lifting, I'm moving the roller up to my belly button area. Okay? So here, knees stay on the ground, okay, because too much pressure will be uncomfortable. Just kind of feel it out. You can always lift the knees if you want to in a moment. Okay, so we're right about above the pelvic area. We kind of right about at the area where we left off, right? See how my legs just slide? Press your elbows forward to move the roller up to the diaphragm. Now again, tenderness can be an issue here. So just go slow with it. Breathe the best that you can breathe when we're here. And we're rollering down. Now maybe you're ready to lift your knees, curl your toes. You can maneuver a little bit better that way, but it is a little bit more intense. So I'm rollering up and rollering down. So we're getting some of the obliques here. We're getting transverse abdominis. We're getting rectus abdominis really well here. Just working some of those deeper abdominal muscles all the way up to superficial. Just getting as deep in there as we can. Okay, a couple times there. Then we're going to put the knees down. And I want you to roll her up above your belly button. And this is going to give us access to the diaphragm. Okay? The diaphragm, if you don't know what it is, it's a bowl-shaped muscle that lines all the way around the inside of your rib cage. And it helps you to breathe. You can't breathe without your diaphragm. So when the diaphragm contracts, flattens out, it expands your abdomen. When you hear about belly breathing in yoga, you're consciously, intentionally contracting that diaphragm, opening up the abdominal area and breathing in from the lower lobes of your lungs all the way up into the upper lobes. So the diaphragm's an important piece. It contracts as it flattens as you inhale, and then as you exhale, it relaxes and it lifts back up into the rib cage. Just Google diaphragm under anatomy and you'll see millions of pictures of it. Okay? So it's often tight. It's our solar plexus energy right there. So if you're insecure, blah, 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 we can go into it deeper, but we won't. But energetically, it can hold a lot of emotional stuff for you. Okay? So I'm right at the bottom of my rib cage here. I can feel my floating ribs, and I'm just going to run along and just go down and try to hit each one of those little floating ribs equally with pressure as I roll her down a little ways. And I'm going to come back up. And when we did the side body work just a minute ago, we got the side of the diaphragm. We got in there as we were rolling down the ribs. Okay, so it's just a couple times there. And just to show you another one with the iliacus. There's the scoop of your pelvic bone kind of comes down like this at an angle, and there's a lot of muscles right here, but the iliacus is the one we're going to focus on. Lines the inside of the pelvic bone. So if you turn your roller in such a way, and I will angle it so I'm getting my left side here so you guys can see. So we're going to move the roller at an angle like this, and I'm going to lean into it and try to push my pelvic bone into the roller a little bit, and then we're just going to rock back and forth. So we're getting more than just the iliacus here. We're getting those obliques again. I can feel it in my diaphragm on my side here. So you just lean into it, apply a little more pressure if you want to. Kind of feel it out in that area. Okay? So it looks like we'll have time to get into the lower body. So I want to start with gluteals, which is so awesome. Everybody loves glute work. So we're going to sit up and on top of the roller. Leaning back, I'm going to roll to the end of my spine and where the cheek starts. So kind of find the sacral area. That's that triangular bone at the end of your spine that holds your pelvis together. Rock it out a little bit right there. It might be really tender. Just roll her right over that bone. And you'll feel something in there, most likely. Okay. So again, I'm doing one side so we can keep moving on here. I'm going to bend my knee, figure 4 with the legs. Let's roll to the top of the cheek. And we're turning. So we're twisting from the lower body. Stay at the top of the cheek. See if you can plant right over that. And we're turning as far as we can. Maybe till our toe gets to the floor. Maybe not. Feel it out. And we're rocking back. Staying at the top of that cheek. Okay? Doing this one a couple times. Feeling it out. Roll her down an inch. This is going to get into the piriformis, which is attached to the sacrum, causes all kinds of gluteal issues. We're landing right on that, and we're turning. Again, twisting. Turning as much as you can to get as lateral into that hip as you can. And then back to center. Roll her down another inch. Okay, this you may feel more piriformis, you may feel that trochanter starting to activate, that bone, it's called your sit bone. You may feel, excuse me, it's not the trochanter, that's this one. The IT, ischial tuberosity, is your sit bone. My mistake. A lot of anatomy kind of scrambles the brain sometimes. So we're going to turn as much as we can and come back to center. Good. So let's roll her all the way down to that sit bone and just roll her right across it, because that's a spot for some action for the hamstrings there. We're going to roll her and then back to center. Okay. So come back up to the hip. We're doing lateral thigh now. We're turning. This is where you can bring the blanket in if you want some cushion for your elbow. Okay. So we know where the top of our pelvic bone is, right? We know where the trochanter is now, thanks to my screw up there a second ago. So we want to be right in between those two. See, it was meant to be that I messed that one up. So now you know where we're going. So we're turning lateral. You'll feel a tight, tendony, rubber bandy type sore spot here. This is glute minimus here that you're feeling as we turn and we kind of sink into the divot at the side of your cheek. That's glute minimus. We will get that one too. But as you go forward, turning more to the front, you'll feel this tight, stretchy piece right there. That's your TFL. That is a tendon that lines up with your ITT down your lateral thigh. Gets really tender. It's part of abduction of the leg. Okay? And flexion. So we're going to move into this spot and we're rocking. So this is tiny movements. You can't see my foot on my bottom leg, but I have the outer edge of my foot anchored, and I'm just hinging at my ankle to rock my body a little bit. So as we're here, you can turn forward to get into that TFL. You can lean back to get into the glute minimus and some other smaller gluteal muscles. You know, and just kind of rock it back and forth. Work that whole area between the crest of that hip. So let's just turn the hip out slightly. So we're at a diagonal line. See how my toes are turned, my ankles turn, and we're just going to run up and down this way a few times, and this is going to be intense also for you. Adjust your roller. So the roller's doing most of the work and your body's not tweaking and turning and twisting and trying to fit into this space here that we're working. You move the roller to make it easier for you, okay? So we got the vastus lateralis, we got a vastus medialis down by the knee a little bit more, but we're going to really get into it with the simple turn. Quadriceps. We can get vastus medialis really easily here. So engage your upper body so you're lifted up and out of the shoulders and they're not straining here, okay? So we're rolling up to that pubis. And then we're rolling down, gliding to just above the knee. And then we're rolling back. And I want you to engage your core here. We keep it engaged, especially as we're doing this one, where we're pulling that roller down and we're pulling our core in with contraction. And then we stretch out. Good. We pull in, we use our core. Good. So this is quads. We run through. You can turn your hips in. See, I have inward rotation. My toes are pointing at each other. You can get more lateral. Explore. Work the areas that hurt. Okay? Now come all the way back up to the pubis. Now we're turning the legs out. So external rotation of the hip. I'm making a wide V. This gives us access to the adductors or the inner thigh muscles and more medial quadriceps as well. So we start at the pubis. Okay? Then we're rocking down. You move the roller. If it doesn't feel right, as far as distance, scooch the roller down your thigh a little bit so you don't have to work as hard to get through all of those muscles from hip to knee. Okay? We turn out, okay, and we roll. Pretty intense right here for the tissue. Again, these adductors pull the legs together. If we have a seated, stagnant job or lifestyle, these are going to be tight. If we're active, like we're runners or we're bikers or we're mountain climbers, these will be tight. Pretty much anything you do, unless you're a gymnast, these will be tight for you. Okay? And we roller through these back and forth. Okay, a couple times. Now we're going to roll her up. I'm going to plant my knees and come out so we can move on. Taking our time with it. Hamstrings. These are really fun. Okay, so the hamstrings originate at that ITT, or the IT, which is our sit bone, the ischial tuberosity, this bony nub that we feel when we sit on a hard surface. Okay, we're going to start right there. So we're going to get up and over the roller. Can't even see me. Back it up. Okay. So we're going to get up and over the roller and extend our leg out to full extension where we line up our joints. And important here, guys, that let me scooch back. That might just be easier. All right. So we're going to sit up and over the roller so we feel the pressure on that sit bone. Our back leg is bent and we're pulling that leg in close to us to press against the roller or be lined up there. Okay? The leg is coming out to full extension. Now if you have your leg over here, you're not going to feel it as much. If you have your leg way over here, you're not going to feel it as much. Let's come right out from the hip, okay? And we're lining up that roller. We're angled where we can come straight down the back of the leg and be consistent with pressure throughout. We start at the bone. We don't feel anything at the bone. We're going to roller forward. So you press into the roller, you lift your body up, and roller till you can sink in right in front of that ischial tuberosity. Now you may start to feel something right here. These are origin points where they attach to bone. So this is going to be tender, and when we come forward just a little bit more, it's going to be even more fun for you. So let's start here where we have extension of the leg. We pull the toes back, dorsiflexion at the ankle, and we feel length down the back of the leg. Now you see that your ankle is lined up. You can see my toes. My ankle is in alignment with my leg. Okay, I'm going to turn from my hip inwards so my big toe comes towards the ground. Keeping my ankle in alignment to make sure that I'm not pulling at my ankle and I'm turning at the appropriate place, which is at the hip. And then we're coming back up where the toes are at the sky, and we're going to turn where the pinkies come down towards the floor. Okay, so just internal and external rotation of the hip, pretty simple there. Now let's come back to center. You feel the hamstrings kind of moving and shifting in there a little bit. We're going to lift up, roller forward, and sink in. Okay, so the leg, this back leg, you're going to feel like you're getting pulled away and you're doing the splits. You just scooch this leg with you. And again, if you need cushion, a blanket for the knee is nice there. Okay, so we sink in. This is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. We pull the toes back, right? If you need more pressure, here's a trick. Fold forward. Bring your fingers to the ground. Walk them towards your toes. Feel out where you need to be. I'm going to scoot back so you can see my foot. Okay? So we're sinking in, leaning forward. Upper body, pressure downward into those hamstrings. Line your ankle up and we turn. Hip in, and we turn the hip out. Really, really interesting sensations here that we're feeling through the tissue. You can feel how they're stuck together in there. You can, at least in my body, I can feel that. You can feel how they're really tight and they're kind of like stretched out rubber bands in there. Okay, so let's come back to center. We lift, pressing into the roller, lift the body, and roller down another inch. Flexion of the foot, folding forward, adding pressure if you would like. If you don't want as much, then just kind of be upright over your hips. I move that leg, okay, leaning forward. Turn and turn. A couple times. Feel it out. It's going to be intense. Take your time with it. You can almost target the ones that are problematic the most in your body as you get this deep into the tissue. You can almost pinpoint where those culprits are that are, causing you the most issues. Okay, and back to center. So we're going to lift up and come down. Okay, toes back and we rotate. Inward, outward. So you can move all the way down your thigh, all the way to above the knee joint with this one. I'm going to move on because the thigh is long and I don't want to waste any more of your time. We're going to work into the lower legs. Okay, so with the lower legs, kind of tricky with anterior lower legs. They're hard to get to, so it's going to be a little awkward with this one, but I know you can do it. I know you can do it. So we're going to climb up and on top of the roller is what we're going to do. We're going to get up here, hands on the ground like we're in a tabletop position. Okay? Core engaged, especially as we pull down the leg. Okay? So here you may find enough sensation. You may feel that you're just on bone and you're not feeling much. Just depends on the body, right? So to get an angle into the pressure, we're going to lean. So I'm just coming down, shifting my weight to one side, and I can get into that anterior tib in the peroneus, just with a little turn of my body. I'll go this way so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so coming down and back up. And with this, since we're kind of off on an angle, you might want to just push with your own body weight and add pressure if you would like, as we're running through. So we're kind of rolling down the roller at a diagonal here. Okay, back and forth. Okay, moving on for calves, couple things, couple different ways. This is one way I see a lot. Although this doesn't provide you a whole lot of pressure, but if you're not wanting that here, then this might be just fine. You just roll out, you walk it down, you roll out the lower part, and you're happy there. Okay? To get a little deeper, I've always got versions for that. I'm going to go sideways so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to lift up. The roller goes right into the crease of my knee, as close in as I can get. And I'm going to just sit down. So in most cases, given the diameter of the roller, you will feel this at the bottom of the belly of the muscle, more into the tendon at the soleus there. So lifting up to decrease, sitting down to increase. And you can rock a little bit back and forth. Notice clearly what side is a little tighter today. So feeling that out for a moment. Lifting up and rollering down, and just kind of roll that roller right into the groove of the back of your ankle and sit down again. Rock it out. Very nice. So fun little tidbits for you to take with. Hopefully you enjoyed that and you learned from it and you have gained some more comfort in your body from it. I appreciate you spending some time with me. I know this one was a little bit longer, but stay tuned for my tennis ball videos. I have the upper body to do on those. So we did lower body, anterior and posterior with the tennis ball, which is even deeper myofascial release than the roller. So check that out if you really like deep pressure. And as always, if you're local in Fort Collins, I am here to serve you with my massage skills, my energy healing, and also I provide private yoga instruction. So please check out my website at omshantihealing.com. Have a blessed, beautiful day. Namaste.